Today I want to share a thought that has the power to transform how we live our lives. Remind yourself daily that there is no way to happiness, rather happiness is the way at first glance. This idea may seem simple, but it carries profound wisdom. We live in a world that often teaches us to chase happiness, to treat it as a destination. We're told that once we achieve a specific goal, whether it's earning more money, buying a house, landing a dream job, or finding the perfect relationship, we'll finally feel happy. But this mindset keeps us perpetually running on a treadmill of if only. The truth is, happiness isn't something you find at the end of the road. It's something you cultivate along the journey. Think about it. When we postpone our happiness for future achievements, we rob ourselves of the joy available in the present moment. We miss out on the little things, the laughter of a friend, the warmth of the sun, the satisfaction of a job well done. Happiness is not a goal, it's a state of being. It comes from how we choose to perceive and respond to the world around us. It's found in gratitude, in kindness, and in the simple decision to embrace life as it is. This doesn't mean we should ignore our aspirations or settle for mediocrity. It means we should pursue our goals from a place of happiness, not for happiness. When we approach life with joy and contentment in our hearts, we become more resilient, creative, and compassionate. We uplift ourselves and those around us. So how do we live this principle? Start small. Begin each day with gratitude. Acknowledge the blessings you already have. Practice mindfulness. Be fully present in each moment. Choose kindness, both toward yourself and others. And most importantly, remind yourself every day that happiness isn't waiting for you somewhere, it's already within you. As you go forward, remember this: the journey of life doesn't lead to happiness. Happiness is the journey. When we embrace this truth, we unlock a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment. Today, I invite you to reflect on a powerful truth. Remind yourself daily that there is no way to happiness, rather happiness is the way. Let's pause for a moment and think about this. How many of us have been conditioned to believe that happiness is something we need to chase? Society tells us that happiness lies in achieving certain milestones, graduating from school, getting a promotion, buying a house, or reaching a specific income level. We're told, if I get this, then I'll be happy. But let me ask you, how many times have you achieved something you worked hard for, only to feel a fleeting sense of happiness before asking yourself, what's next? This is the trap of conditional happiness. It keeps us running after a moving target, always believing that the next accomplishment, the next relationship, or the next purchase will finally bring us lasting joy. But the truth is, happiness doesn't work that way. Happiness is not a destination. It is not something you find at the end of a long road. It is a way of being, a choice we make every single day. It is not dependent on external circumstances, but rather on how we choose to perceive and interact with the world around us. Let me share a story to illustrate this. There's a tale about two men walking through a forest. One man is constantly looking ahead, searching for a clearing or a perfect spot to rest, complaining about how far they've walked. The other man, meanwhile, is taking in the beauty of the forest, the sunlight streaming through the trees, the chirping of the birds, the cool breeze. At the end of the journey, the first man feels tired and dissatisfied because he was so focused on reaching the perfect spot that he missed the journey entirely. The second man, however, feels joyful because he found happiness in the journey itself. This is the essence of today's message. Happiness isn't something you discover later, it's something you create now. It's found in the little things: a warm smile, a heartfelt conversation, the sound of laughter, or even the simple act of breathing. But how do we live this philosophy? How do we practice happiness as a way of being? 1. Start with gratitude. Happiness begins with appreciating what you already have. Every day, take a moment to acknowledge your blessings, your health, your family, your friends, or even the food on your plate. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's abundant. 2. Be present. Happiness lies in the present moment. Too often we dwell on past regrets or worry about the future, missing the beauty of the here and now. Practice mindfulness, whether it's savoring your morning coffee or fully engaging in a conversation. 3. Let go of comparison. One of the biggest thieves of happiness is comparison. When we measure our lives against others, we forget that everyone's journey is unique. Instead of comparing, celebrate your own progress and be inspired by others without envy. 4. Cultivate inner peace. Happiness isn't about everything going perfectly in your life, it's about finding peace despite the imperfections. Life will always have challenges, but we can choose to face them with resilience and optimism. 5. Spread kindness. Happiness grows when shared. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, create ripples that uplift both the giver and the receiver. Smile at a stranger, help a friend, or simply listen to someone who needs to talk. 6. Remind yourself daily, make it a habit to remind yourself that happiness is a choice. Write it down, say it out loud, or reflect on it during moments of stillness. By doing this, you train your mind to seek joy in everyday life. Now, some of you may be thinking, but life isn't always easy. How can I be happy when I'm facing challenges? And that's a valid question. Happiness doesn't mean ignoring hardships or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing how you respond to those hardships. It means finding strength in adversity, gratitude in struggle, and hope in uncertainty. Think of happiness as a light within you. Even in the darkest moments, that light doesn't disappear. It's always there, waiting for you to ignite it. As we move forward in life, let's remember this happiness is not the result of getting what we want. It's the process of appreciating what we have. It's not a treasure to uncover, it's a skill to practice. And it's not something we arrive at someday, it's something we carry with us every day. So let's commit to this, to living each day with joy, gratitude, and presence. Let's stop searching for happiness somewhere out there and start realizing that happiness has been within us all along. I want to dive deep into a profound statement that holds the potential to transform how we live our lives. Remind yourself daily that there is no way to happiness, rather happiness is the way. This simple yet profound idea challenges everything we've been conditioned to believe about happiness. So often we're told that happiness is something to be earned, achieved, or acquired, a reward that awaits us at the end of a journey. We're led to believe that it lies in external achievements like career success, material wealth, or the perfect relationship. But today I want to challenge that notion. I want to suggest that happiness isn't the destination of life, it is the path we walk every day. And to fully embrace this idea, we need to explore it through both theory and examples from real life. 1. The psychology of happiness. From a psychological standpoint, happiness is often divided into two types: hedonic happiness and eudaimonic happiness. Hedonic happiness is the pleasure we derive from external experiences like eating a delicious meal, buying a new gadget, or going on a vacation. While enjoyable, this form of happiness is fleeting because it's tied to external circumstances. Once the meal is finished or the vacation ends, the feeling dissipates, leaving us craving the next high. Eudaimonic happiness, on the other hand, is deeper and more sustainable. It comes from living a life aligned with our values, purpose, and inner fulfillment. It's the kind of happiness we feel when we contribute to others, grow as individuals, or find meaning in life's challenges. The idea that happiness is the way aligns with eudaimonic happiness. It asks us to shift our focus from fleeting pleasures to cultivating a meaningful and mindful life. 2. The science behind happiness is the way. Let's turn to science to understand this concept further. Research in positive psychology reveals that only about 10% of our happiness is determined by external circumstances. Surprisingly, 40% comes from our intentional activities, our mindset, choices, and habits, while the remaining 50% is influenced by our genetics. This means that no matter what happens in life, whether we win the lottery or face setbacks, our happiness levels tend to return to a baseline. This phenomenon, known as the hedonic treadmill, explains why external achievements alone can't sustain long-term happiness. Here's the empowering part. Since 40% of our happiness is within our control, we can cultivate it every single day through gratitude, kindness, and mindfulness. When we focus on these practices, we realize that happiness isn't something we need to chase, it's something we create moment by moment. 3. Examples from life. Let me illustrate this with a few examples. A common misconception: imagine someone who spends years chasing a promotion at work. They sacrifice their health, relationships, and passions, believing that the promotion will finally make them happy. When they achieve it, they feel a temporary rush of excitement, but soon they're left wondering why they still feel unfulfilled. Now contrast this with someone who approaches their work with gratitude and finds joy in the process, connecting with colleagues, learning new skills, and celebrating small wins. For them, happiness isn't tied to a future event, it's a daily experience. The power of presence. Let's consider a parent playing with their child. If the parent is distracted thinking about emails or tomorrow's to-do list, they miss the joy of the moment. But if they're fully present, they experience the pure happiness of laughter, connection, and love. This shows that happiness is not in the circumstance, but in the mindset. Adversity and happiness now. What about tough times? Can we be happy even when life gets hard? Think of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning. Despite enduring unimaginable suffering, he found happiness in small moments of human connection and in the belief that life has meaning, even in the face of adversity. Frankl's story teaches us that happiness doesn't depend on perfect conditions. It comes from finding purpose and meaning, even in the hardest moments. Or, happiness is a daily practice. To make happiness our way of life, we must cultivate it intentionally. Here are some practices grounded in both theory and practical wisdom. Gratitude journaling every day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Studies show that this simple act rewires your brain to focus on the positive. Mindfulness meditation. Spend a few minutes each day being fully present. Mindfulness reduces stress and increases your capacity to experience joy. Acts of kindness helping others not only uplifts them but also boosts your own sense of happiness and purpose. Reframing challenges when faced with difficulties. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I grow through this? This mindset helps transform struggles into opportunities for growth. Living with intention. Align your actions with your values. When your daily choices reflect what truly matters to you, happiness follows naturally. When we embrace happiness as a way of being, everything changes. We stop waiting for life to be perfect. We stop attaching our joy to external achievements. Instead, we learn to find fulfillment in the present moment, regardless of what's happening around us. Consider the words of Buddha, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. This wisdom reminds us that life isn't about arriving at a destination, it's about how we walk the journey. Imagine a life where you wake up each day, not chasing happiness, but creating it through gratitude, kindness, and presence. Imagine the ripple effect this has on others. When you radiate joy, you inspire others to do the same. So I urge you, don't wait for happiness to find you. Choose it, create it, live it. Because happiness isn't out there somewhere, it's within you, ready to be embraced in this very moment. Certainly. Let's delve even deeper into this concept of happiness as a way of life, integrating philosophical, scientific, and real-world perspectives to ensure we fully grasp its transformative potential. 1. The philosophical roots of happiness is the way the idea that happiness is not a destination but a way of being has its roots in many philosophical traditions. In Buddhism, happiness or sukha is not found in material possessions or external achievements. Instead, it arises from inner peace, mindfulness, and detachment from cravings and desires. The Buddha famously said, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. This emphasizes that living mindfully and compassionately in the present moment is the essence of a happy life. Stoicism, the Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught that true happiness comes from within. They argued that external events are beyond our control and should not dictate our happiness. Instead, they believed that our perception and response to life's challenges are what matter most. For instance, Epictetus said, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control, and some things are not. Aristotle's eudaimonia. Aristotle introduced the concept of eudaimonia, which is often translated as flourishing or well-being. For Aristotle, happiness is not about fleeting pleasures, but about living a life of virtue and purpose. It is a state of living in alignment with one's values and fulfilling one's potential. These philosophies collectively point to the idea that happiness is not an end goal, neuroscience of happiness advances in engaging with life valuable insights into our inner values and deeper sense of being, not a destination. The brain's reward system, when we achieve something, a promotion, a material possession, or a goal, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. However, this effect is temporary. The brain quickly resets to its baseline state, leading us to chase the next reward. This phenomenon is known as the hedonic treadmill. We keep running, but we don't move closer to lasting happiness. Neuroplasticity. Our brain has the remarkable ability to rewire itself based on our habits and thoughts. When we practice gratitude, kindness, or mindfulness regularly, we strengthen neural pathways associated with positive emotions. This means we can train our brain to experience happiness more frequently, independent of external circumstances. The role of oxytocin. Acts of kindness and social connection release oxytocin, often called the love hormone. Oxytocin fosters feelings of trust, connection, and well-being. This explains why helping others or spending quality time with loved ones contributes to lasting happiness. Three. Real-life applications of happiness is the way. Example 1, the corporate leader. Consider a high-level executive who works tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder. They believe that once they reach the top, they'll finally be happy. But when they get there, they realize the pressure and stress remain. Contrast this with a leader who finds joy in mentoring their team, celebrating small wins, and learning from daily challenges. Example 2, the second leader doesn't postpone happiness. I'll be happy when my children graduate, get good jobs, and settle down, but in waiting for that distant moment, they might miss the joy of spending time with their children, hearing their laughter, and watching them grow. A parent who embraces happiness as the way finds fulfillment in the little moments, reading bedtime stories, cooking meals together, or simply being present. Example 3, the farmer in the storm. Imagine a farmer who loses a crop to a storm. One farmer might spiral into despair, lamenting their bad luck. Another might accept the loss, focus on the resilience they've built over years, and find gratitude in the opportunity to start anew. The second farmer exemplifies the practice of finding happiness in adversity, not by denying the hardship, but by choosing to respond with strength and perspective. The practices that make happiness the way happiness isn't automatic, it's cultivated through daily practices. Let's expand on how to integrate happiness into our lives. 1. Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for shifting our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. Studies show that practicing gratitude regularly increases overall well-being and life satisfaction. To practice gratitude, start a gratitude journal, noting 3 things you're thankful for every day. Express appreciation to the people around you, whether through words or acts of kindness. 2. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It allows us to experience life as it is, rather than wishing it were different. To practice mindfulness, engage in meditation, focusing on your breath and letting go of distractions. Practice mindful eating, savoring each bite without rushing. 3. Reframing negative thoughts. When challenges arise, happiness is found in how we choose to perceive them. Reframing involves shifting from a negative perspective to a constructive one. For example, instead of thinking, I failed, think, I learned something valuable. Instead of asking, why me, ask, what is this teaching me for? Helping others not only improves their lives, but also boosts our own happiness. This can be as simple as complimenting someone. Living with purpose. Happiness is deeply tied to living a life of meaning. Reflect on what truly matters to you, kindness, like and align your actions with those values. For example, if family is important to you, make time for them, even amidst a busy schedule. If creativity fuels you, carve out time for your passions. The transformative power of happiness is the way when we embrace happiness as a way of life, several profound shifts occur. 1. We stop waiting, we stop delaying happiness for future achievements and start living fully in the present. 2. We build resilience by focusing on gratitude and purpose. We navigate challenges with strength and optimism. 3. We enrich relationships when we radiate happiness. We inspire and uplift those around us, creating deeper connections. 4. We live with fulfillment. We discover that true happiness isn't found in external circumstances, but in how we choose to live each moment. As you leave here today, remember that happiness is not something you need to chase or find. It's something you can create right here, right now. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. So let's commit to walking the path of happiness not as a distant goal, but as a way of life. Thank you. Further integrating broader perspectives, more examples, and actionable insights to truly embrace the idea that happiness is the way. 1. The problem with the when-then mentality. We've all heard phrases like, I'll be happy when I lose weight, or I'll be happy when I get promoted. This mindset is what we call the when-then trap. The problem with this mentality is that it postpones happiness indefinitely. Even if you achieve what you were striving for, the satisfaction is often fleeting because a new desire or goal quickly replaces the old one. You tell yourself, now I need to lose even more weight, or now I need a higher position. This endless cycle is why happiness tied to external circumstances is elusive. External achievements, while valuable, are not sustainable sources of joy. Why? Because the human brain is wired for adaptation. This concept, known as hedonic adaptation, explains why lottery winners and people who suffer serious setbacks often return to their baseline level of happiness after some time. A modern-day example: imagine someone who spends years saving to buy their dream house. When they finally move in, they're ecstatic at first. But soon, the excitement wears off as they get used to their new surroundings. They find themselves looking for the next big thing: a car, a renovation, or a new vacation. This is the hedonic treadmill at work. The lesson? True happiness must come from within because external accomplishments can only provide temporary satisfaction. 2. How happiness is the way solves this problem when you treat happiness as a daily practice rather than a future destination. You escape the treadmill. You stop deferring joy and start cultivating it in the present. Here's why this mindset is so powerful. It shifts your perspective. You stop seeing happiness as a reward and start seeing it as a tool to enhance your daily life. It empowers you. You realize that your happiness is not dependent on external circumstances but on your own mindset and choices. It creates resilience by focusing on inner peace and gratitude. You learn to navigate challenges with a positive outlook. 3. Happiness is a skill. One of the most empowering aspects of this philosophy is that happiness is a skill you can develop. Like learning a language or playing an instrument, cultivating happiness takes practice and effort. Key habits to build the skill of happiness. 1. Daily gratitude. Practice gratitude rewires the brain to focus on the positive. Start a daily habit of writing down 3 things you're grateful for. These can be as simple as a good meal, a kind word from a friend, or even a sunny day. 2. Acts of kindness. Research shows that helping others boosts our own happiness. Whether it's donating to a cause, volunteering, or simply holding the door for someone, acts of kindness create a ripple effect of positivity. Mindful presence. Happiness thrives in the present moment. Practice mindfulness by focusing fully on what you're doing, whether it's eating, walking, or having a conversation. Let go of distractions and immerse yourself in the now. 4. Self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend. When you make mistakes, instead of berating yourself, ask, what can I learn from this? 5. Reframing challenges. Life is full of challenges, but your perspective matters. Instead of seeing problems as roadblocks, view them as opportunities for growth. For example, losing a job could be a chance to explore a more fulfilling career path. 4. Real-life examples that illustrate happiness is the way the teacher who finds joy in the everyday. Consider a school teacher who, like many, faces daily challenges, long hours, difficult students, and limited resources. One teacher might view these challenges as a source of stress and frustration, constantly dreaming of the day they can retire. Another teacher, however, approaches their work with a mindset of gratitude and purpose. They find joy in seeing a student grasp a difficult concept, in a kind note from a parent, or in the camaraderie of their colleagues.